y'all. Come on in. Come on in here. It's a wonderfully Wellness Wednesday. This Wednesday, we are focused on wellness. Come on in here. I got stuff to say. I got information to share. I have happiness to spread, love to give. So come on in here. Now let me just go ahead and do my official because I started today and I really do have a lot to share this February, this fantastic February. It is February 3rd, 2021, and I'm getting ready to say, hey y'all, hey, it's Tracy time. It's time for another moment with me, Tracy T. I am absolutely delighted that you are here with me on this Wellness Wednesday. My 3 for 30 today will always start with the very first thing I want to know, and that is how you are doing. How are you? How you are? I can tell you, I am as officially, authentically coming to you today as possible, right? So one of the things about this Wellness Wednesday I'm going to cover in my 3 for 30 is about your mindset. Y'all know I focus on mindset. I talk about your mindset. We talked about it on Monday, about how you look at things, your perspective on things, how your approach is for things. We are always going to focus on mindset. That is going to be my number one thing. Hey, Adrian, how you doing? Mwah, Panache Styles in the house. I am 100% intentional about making sure that you identify and then own your everyday amazing. So I'm coming to you today in this truly authentic state. Whenever you see me wrapped up, y'all, it's because I need to just a little extra level, a little extra layer, because it's cold. Is anybody else cold? I know today's supposed to be a little colder here, but I'm not going to complain because I know people that are in the New England states are really catching it. They got snow and snow and snow and snow, but I'm still layered up. Anyway, first thing in my 3 for 30 is this. I want to know how you're doing for real. The Wellness Wednesday. I want to know how you're doing. You know, we've gone through on some Wellness Wednesdays. We talked about having people stop the world and let you off, running your dishwasher twice and going to bed. We've done the pause and breathe. We've had a lot of different opportunities for us to share things that will help us kind of navigate through this journey that we're on, and how wellness plays. It is breezy, isn't it, Adrian? And how this journey and how we get things, and then facing the midst of everything that we have, just regular everyday life stuff on top of, right? And then, like, if you had a layer, if you already had a 4-layer cake, that's plenty of cake, but then you get a whole nother layer that's COVID, and that takes you to a point where you're like, okay, I got a little more cake than I know what to do with here. So what are you doing with the overflow, with the abundance of, because you can have an abundance of opportunity, and you can have an abundance of obstacles. It's all depending on how you look at it. So I want to know how you're doing. I really do. You know, you can give me in one of the private groups that I'm in, I checked in with them for my friend Michael B. Moore. You know, I told you all that he transitioned over and is in the great cloud of witnesses now. I know having himself one heck of a good time. And so I checked in with the group and asked how they were doing by smiley face, right? Like smiley face, they're doing good. You know, kind of semi-smile, they're okay, but they have moments, and then, you know, further on down to a frown, like I'm struggling. And so I want to know how you guys are doing. Give me that. And then here's the thing. One of the reasons I came today, because on Monday I told you that there's on Wellness Wednesday we were going to talk about something that I have, that I'm dealing with, and I want to spread awareness about that and take some of the taboo and stigma off of it. So I've come fresh faced. And I want to make sure that you guys see this and understand this, because I know that I'm not the only one dealing with this. And I know that there are others who have it, but some may not want to own their authenticity to it. So this is me. I'm everyday amazing. I love myself. I'm like, I'm in the same vein with Lizzo. Lizzo was on her Instagram the other day rubbing her stomach and talking to her stomach, and she realized that, you know, it's just part of who she is, and her stomach is part of her, that she used to hate it. And for me, I'm grateful that I have a healthy appreciation for all that I am, flaws and all. I'm still everyday amazing because I'm here. I get a chance to have this life. So I want you to take ownership of what makes you you, and be able to celebrate that in the everyday amazingness that you are, right? So for me, the second thing I want to share, after knowing how you're doing and checking in and letting you know it's okay not to be okay, and wherever you are, if you're great, great. If you feel like you need to have a moment, have a moment. If you stay in that moment and you can't get out of that moment, is when we need you to say, okay, I need some help. But own that. It's okay. Because too many times we want to take, we have that mask up. There's a commercial where they got the smiley face up. And if you don't feel like it, just say it. So today, I'm here to tell you from my number two, y'all. It's very simple. I came to you without makeup on today. And Angie Caster at Hair Angel Love. I have an appointment with her in the very near future because I'm leaning into my birthday, so I want to be fantastic for my birthday. But because I'm 50 and fabulous, I'm going to be 50 and fabulous. And so y'all see, I brushed my hair. My haircut, because my haircut's still flying fresh. But y'all see, I got all this. I got new growth, right? My hair is growing. Thank God, my hair is growing. So it's time for a fresh set of crochet braids. Not ashamed to tell y'all that. And if you scared to hear it, sorry. But I have, as so many women do, I have a PCOS. And so PCOS has created some major impacts for me in my life. It has given me some obstacles that I've had to overcome. And I'm sharing this with you on Wellness Wednesday because not only do I have PCOS, I also suffer from fibroids. And so I want to share that with you because I think that let me take that back. I know that there are other women who have PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. And I know that there are other women who have fibroids. And so I want to share that with you to know that, first off, you're not suffering alone. And that I have had this issue. I've been diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome for a decade or more now. And with the fibroids, I was able to get that addressed, and I'm going to share what I did. So this is going to be 2-part, and then some of 3 for my 3 for 30. But I want to tell you that the PCOS, y'all, polycystic ovary syndrome, is no joke. One of the things that happens with women that have polycystic ovary syndrome is that they have varying levels, because what happens is you have cysts that develop on your ovaries, and the cysts can naturally, because of hormones, they can create additional hair growth. They have what I call acne, which I'll tell you about that in a second. And then you have issues with losing weight, with weight retention, and energy level, and the like. It's full spectrum. Just like for any other woman, if you have your hormones are out of whack, imagine how you feel if any of you have had any babies, if you've ever had a pregnancy, if you have a cycle every month. Know that when your hormones are out of whack, you can feel it. It affects you, right? For me, I didn't know that I had polycystic ovary syndrome, y'all. I am faithful. I am consistent about getting my annual mammograms and my pap smears and having my wellness checks. I'm serious about that. I'm serious about my health. My family member, Sweetie, and my sister will laugh and say if anything is at all to the left of center for me, I'm like, hello, doctor, hello, specialist, hello, I need to know. So but I did not know that I had PCOS because I want to say the symptoms weren't silent, but because of, you being a woman and going through regular cycles, it wasn't as evident to me that it was connected to PCOS, okay? And so it was only until in about 2009, y'all, in 2009, I started developing this acne that was coming on my face, and it wasn't like regular acne. I've never had an issue with my skin on my face. I've always been very careful. I've taken the best care of my skin as I possibly could, and from a young age, and so I couldn't understand why it was happening, and that the acne, even though it qualifies as acne, wasn't like pimples like people normally would have, There were like cysts that were on my face, and it was like on my jawline, and they were big and they wouldn't go away. And then I'd have some on my forehead, and I was like, what is happening? And so I looked up, thank goodness for the internet, right, in 2009. I looked up like what is happening that I'm getting these, and I said pimples or acne on my jawline. And it was then that I realized that it was one of the indicators of PCOS. So I went to my gynecologist, and Dr. Carter, who was a phenomenal gift. We went through and she confirmed that I did have PCOS, and that the the acne, the cysts that I was developing on my jawline was, in fact, one of the things that happens. And a lot of women that have PCOS will also have increased or advanced hair growth on their face. So, and there's a term for it. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an H. Y'all look it up if you want to know. But I'm telling you this because I want you to know you're not alone. And from time to time, you will see I'll have flare-ups. I'll have flare-ups with my PCOS. And so what I call the hackney instead of acne, y'all, is because I've added the H because it's hormonal, right? And I get it on my jawline and on my forehead. It's in the same spots. It's so weird. So today I'm coming to you without makeup on so that you can see it, because I want you to understand. I think you could probably see it really clearly on Monday for Motivation Monday, where the cysts that are acne that's on my jawline are sometimes they're very subtle and sometimes they're super aggressive, right? And so I just have to roll with it because I am not in the whatever the doctor's name. I'm not a pimple popper. I'm not trying to do that because they'll a lot of times they'll go back down or they'll dry out, but they're painful and they're persistent. And so as a person who suffers from PCOS, I have to be mindful of that. So I'm going to turn so you guys can see this, and it causes this discoloration on my skin. And now that I'm older, it happens more consistently. Okay, so if you see here, and I'm in the height of one of the what I call the episodes of it, you see here, specifically here, that this is one of the cysts. So when I had makeup on Monday, it covered the discoloration and the pigmentation issue, but the cysts were still persistent. So you see that they're there. Well, I can tell y'all, this is pain. These are painful, and it is really disconcerting to have something that's happening with your body that you don't have control over. You can see here that there's another one that's there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Yeah, that's a better shot of it. You can see that is there. Again, I don't touch them because they will then, and from history, this is experience, that they will then create some scarring and the discoloration will eventually fade. Thankfully, without me having to do anything. I guess that will give DNA, and thank you, Jesus, for that. But before I knew that, I really need to just leave them alone. Your knee jerk is if you feel like you got something on your face, you want it off. But I don't do that. So now I'm telling you that so that you can be aware of it, okay? Because I want you to know that this thing exists and it's real. It happens to real everyday people. It does take a toll when you look. I can tell you, for me, when I look at my face and see that it's doing something and I can't control it, and it's not because of diet, it's not because I haven't washed my face or washed the makeup off my face, which I have to be careful about that and the oils and stuff. But this is something that's internal. It's hormonal. So what can I do? Well, I can tell you that I know that there's a sister friend of mine, Yolanda Spinks, who also has PCOS, and she and I have communicated, and I can say her name with confidence because she and I have communicated it. She shared it on her own page too, and someone at a level who gets much more exposure than Yo and I, Kiki Palmer, also has PCOS, and she has PCOS has affected her entire face, where she has the what I call the hackney. She has it over her entire face, and so she's been able to mask it with makeup, and with skilled makeup artists for several years. And she finally recently decided to go ahead and unveil that and share that she was suffering from it, and for people to be able to see it. It is a disconcerting experience. It is a disconcerting condition, and I want you all to know that for me, I can push through it and know that, knowing what it is, and that there are some things I can potentially do to kind of shield that from being seen. That there are times when it just refuses to be hidden, and the hackney says, I'm here, I'm gonna show up on your videos, I want to know what's going on. And so there are other people who are suffering from that. So I want you to be advised, aware, and then empathetic of the plight. Because a lot of times when you see women who have an increased facial hair, right, they'll have a heavier mustache, or they have to shave, or they have hair that's under their beard, and it's not just the regular testosterone, increase, or the limited or reduced amount of estrogen, but it's just part of the, I think it's hedonism is the name of it, that is connected to the PCOS. Empathize with them, because can you imagine having to bear that burden in addition to all the other things that come along with being a woman? So I wanted to make you aware of that if you have any of those symptoms where you feel fatigued, where you have done things that have created diminished weight loss opportunities despite efforts and earnest exercise and food and diet, where you have increased hair, or what I have, which is the hair, jawline, and cheek and forehead issues with development of acne that is otherwise unexplainable, please go to your OBGYN and get checked, or go to initially your doctor, your general internist, or a doctor, and share those concerns, because it could be something bigger. And here's why it was important for me to acknowledge that this was something bigger, y'all. Because what happened for me is that one of the cysts evolved into a dermoid cyst, and the dermoid cyst, it was a bigger issue because it could rupture. It could have ruptured, and then I could have had sepsis from it, and then compromise my system and put my life at risk. And so the dermoid cyst that was on my right ovary corrupted my right ovary. And my right ovary, what we thought was just a laparoscopic 90-minute outpatient procedure in 2010, ended up being a full-on not outpatient, inpatient procedure. During the procedure, the uncovery was that the cyst had just corrupted my ovary altogether, and my ovary had to be removed. That is called an oophorectomy. Okay, that is called an oophorectomy. So I had an oophorectomy, and I'm telling you this now because if I had not checked from the initial indicator, then I could have been at potential risk. That would have been a greater risk than just having this. That this was an indicator for me that something in my body was amiss, and that I'm grateful that I didn't ignore it. So I'm telling you that because your body will give you indicators that something is off. And that is your warning sign. That's your red flag. That's your alert to say, that's the flashing light, whatever you want to call it, that something is off. And I don't want you to ignore it. We talk about wellness, and oftentimes I'm talking about wellness of emotional state. But for today, I want to talk to you about the not just the emotional state, but the physical state of your well-being. Because you've got to pay attention to the things that your body is telling you so that you can be as well as possible. So this was an indication that to me that something was off, y'all. And when I went to the doctor and she said, yep, you got PCOS. And then it was like, but wait, there's more. Not only do you have PCOS and you have some cysts on your left ovaries, your right ovary, your right ovary has cysts and a dermoid cyst. And so the dermoid cyst, I'll put that in the information in the bottom so you'll understand what a dermoid cyst is, y'all. That thing was like, oh, I'm getting ready to be up in here. I'm gonna have my space. This is gonna be mine. And I'm like, the lies you tell. We're not doing any of that. Well, what ended up happening, the laparoscopic surgery became a real surgery. I went from 90 minutes to a 3-hour procedure. I went from going home that day to being in the hospital for 3 days. That was the first hospital stay and the only hospital stay I've ever had. But if I had not let this indicator get me the appointment, the cyst could have ruptured, y'all, and then I may not be here. And I'm not being dramatic. This is not an exaggeration. This is me telling you how serious this was, right? And that I didn't have symptoms or pain or anything from the dermoid cyst itself, but that it was creating, and it was literally potentially causing a toxic and could have been deadly situation in my body, and then of course impacting my life. The reason I tell you that is because you can have something going on. I'm pulling up dermoid cysts so I can share it. The reason I want you to be aware of what's happening with your body is because too often, and especially as women, we excuse and explain away things that our body is saying, alert, 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 alert. And we say, oh no, it's just this, or no, I just had. Get yourself to a doctor, even if it's a tele appointment, one that you now, that because of COVID, we can talk to a doctor and have our symptoms checked. But we've got to pay attention to what our body is telling us, right? Because my body doing this after not having this for 35 plus years, well, something is wrong. My body was saying, nope, 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 something's wrong, something is wrong. And so I wanted you to know that. And then the surgery that was supposed to be a 1 week recovery or 5-day recovery, I ended up having to recover like I had a cesarean, uh, a C-section, or like I had a hysterectomy, in that, which I didn't, but it was the recovery of it took 6 to 8. It took 7. It took, actually, that's not true. It took 9 weeks for me to recover. Thankfully, I was in a position where I could work from home, and then I had some complications with the healing process that was not related to the cyst, but it was connected to it because of the cyst. I had to have the surgery. So I'm telling you that to say that I'm here today because something as simple as what people think, well, you just got a pimple. Like, don't pay attention to that. Was something much bigger. Okay? It was something much bigger. And I'm so grateful that I had the wherewithal and the gumption to say, something's wrong here. This is not what I normally experience. And so that when your body is telling you that, I want you to just pay attention to it and understand it, and know that it is serious. Okay? It is serious. And so let me see, I'm going to share, y'all. I don't want to share an image with you because I don't want you to be freaked out. I don't want you to be freaked out because Sweetie was freaked out, okay? She was freaked out. So I'm just going to tell you that dermoid cysts, they can be undetected. They usually occur. They can be anywhere too. This was the thing I didn't know about dermoid cysts, that they can occur in your skin, on your face, anywhere. And I just happened to have one on my ovary. Go figure. So I'll post that because I want to find something that I can share that will not have you completely freaked out. It is rare. Um, but I want you to know that it was also because there was one part of it that it says, in the pamphlet and the information that I got and I brought home, it said that it could grow hair and it could grow teeth. And so Sweetie was freaked out. I'm telling you that to say that you want to take care of yourself. But that was funny to me because Sweetie was freaked out. I didn't get freaked out. And so having a dermoid cyst and getting it removed saved my life. Now, here's the other thing that I said, because it's 2-part. I'm talking about, for me, my wellness that I'm sharing with you today is me talking about what happened with my reproductive health, right? I've never had any pregnancies, and but I can tell you that not having any pregnancies did not excuse me from having fibroids or having ovarian cysts. PCOS is still with me today. Having the oophorectomy and having my right ovary removed did not remove me from and not excuse me from PCOS. My left ovary is still very much functioning and healthy and active, and it still has cysts on it. They're small, like pea-sized cysts, but they're still cysts nonetheless. I still have PCOS. So I want you to know that this will happen, and it's not to explain the issue that you see either without a stitch of makeup on or a full face of makeup on, but to say that in the wellness of my well-being, I am having that experience and I am still thriving in the midst of it, and yet because of it and the nonetheless of it and the however comma of it is not going to keep me from being everyday amazing. Okay? Now, the other thing that I had that was a complete wellness issue was that after we had overcome the whole oophorectomy, healed, recovered, I had the unmitigated gall, y'all, and I say I because it's my uterus, to get fibroids, to get uterine fibroids. I was like, what the heck, Jekyll and Hyde is happening here? Who told my doggone uterus and ovaries to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Who said that that was okay? Because it wasn't for me. But guess what? There they were. Anyway, those doggone uterine fibroids were having themselves a wang dang noodle of a time in my uterus. Do you hear me? And to the point where I had the worst, the heaviest, the most painful cycles ever, 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 ever. Went back to my OBGYN and was like, look, Dr. Carter, something has got to give here. Like I told her when we had the oophorectomy, I said, you make sure you did, did you take a good look around? Because if you had anything else that needed to come about, that was the time to do it, right? That was the time to do it. But because I was still relatively young, and she said, we want you to have a natural hormonal process and not have to do hormone replacement therapy. We don't want to do a hysterectomy. We want to leave the healthy functioning ovary. Your uterus, even though it has fibroids, is still sound. So here's some options for you to consider with your uterus. So I was like, okay. One was a hysterectomy. I didn't want to. I just told y'all I didn't I just tell you don't cut me up another time. Didn't I say that? So we weren't doing that. And so she said, well, there are a couple procedures. One is the uterine fibroid embolization, where they can go in and kind of cauterize the fibroids. Well, doing that vaginally didn't sound exciting. I mean, hello, no thanks. I don't want the idea of you burning off something, and no, I passed. And then there was this UFE, where it was the uterine fibroid embolization. Okay, tell me more. So the UFE, y'all, was this. The process that I went through, Dr. Carter referred me to Dr. Cohen. Dr. Cohen had from the minute that I saw him, he was like, here's the process. I'm gonna show you what we do. Y'all, do you know that we did this thing in office? We did this thing in office. I wasn't even, I had I was given something, so I was like, kind of floaty, but I was awake. I was conscious. And they went through my wrist. This wrist right here. You can't see a single thing on this wrist, can you? No scars, no nothing. Do y'all see that wrist? That wrist is beautiful. We did that. That UFE was in office. I recovered. This was in November 2019, y'all. And when I tell you, I am so glad that I did that. I'm so glad that I did that UFE, because it literally shifted the course and quality of my life. So I'm telling you all now, especially my sisters who are sisters that have any hue, pigmentation, melanin in their skin, because we are the ones in our age group too, from 35 I think to 50, that get fibroid cysts more often reportedly, and you don't have to suffer. Don't suffer. Ooh, I was so glad. So I don't know how many of you can say thank you, and this information has been helpful to me, but I pray that it has. Take care of your body. Take care of address the warning signs, and you have the danger, and something is going on and your body is giving you an indicator. Pay attention to it, because you don't know, it could be something so simple, or it could have some potential real risks associated with it, that if you don't pay attention to it and you let that thing continue to evolve and grow, the bigger the chance is, the greater the opportunity is for you to be at risk. Don't put yourself at risk. Your body is right there with you all day, every day and night and day. It knows when something is going wrong, and it is telling you something is off. You get an alert. It's just like the dash on your car. It's on your vehicle. It tells you when something has gotten to a point where it either, like your engine light. If your engine light is solid and it just comes on when you crank your car, and you're like, oh, that could be something. It could be something as simple as you don't have your gas cap tied, locked in, and the pressure isn't right. Or it could be a greater thing, where if the engine is about to be corrupted and it's about to go completely cuckoo, it'll be like flashing. It's intermittent, like, do something, pull over, go to service, do something. Your body does that too. So let's take care of our bodies as well as we take care of our vehicles. Matter of fact, let's take care of our bodies better. Let's be better. Let's be better this year. The last thing I'm going to say in my 3 for 30 is this. Going through the grief process, y'all. When people are going through the grief process, and it's just like anything else, it's all about your mindset. My friend Tommy Shop, I'm going to say this to y'all and I'm going to close. My friend Tommy Shop really blessed me in that he said, Tracy, what happens if we shift our thinking from saying that we have suffered a loss to celebrating the person's life? That blessed me. So I want to thank Tommy. Thank you, Tommy Shop, for giving me that question, for challenging my mindset, and then giving me the opportunity to do a mindset shift, because I had to shift my mindset, y'all, from saying, you know, I lost this person. I lost this person. This person lost their life, to saying, really what's happened is they've made a transition in their life's journey, and I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to be a part of it. I'm grateful for the life they had. I'm grateful for the memories that we created, and now there are moments that I cherish. That has helped me. So I want to encourage you to do a mindset shift, not just on the life of people that have transitioned, but for yourself, and how you think about your life, and how important it is for us to each live our lives, literally these unguaranteed moments that we get, and really be conscious and be mindful and purposeful about what we do with it, right? So that when you make that fantastic transition to the great cloud of witnesses, that then your time will literally have been filled with moments that are memories that people can cherish, and not them thinking that they've suffered some loss, right? And so I'm grateful to Tommy for that. I posted earlier today from my Aunt Rosie when we had gone to her homegoing. She loved to have, her nails were always polished shiny silver, and she was just jazzy, you know, like that. And so as a tribute to her, we all polished our nails silver, and then we took a picture as a tribute picture to her, and I posted that today. And it was at this time that we attended her homegoing celebration and honoring her life. And so I posted that today as a tribute to my Aunt Rosie. And so, Aunt Rosie, I love you. Thank you for being a champion of jazziness. And I am grateful for your life and the legacy of love that you have left for us and the Rowe family and all the people who love and adored you. And know that for my cousin Rochelle, you carry that torch, and that we are wrapping you up with love as always, and that it was not a loss. It was not a loss. Her life was not lost, but we were all better for it and gained the gift of her life. And so that's it, y'all. That's all. I'm a couple minutes over, but I think it was time well spent. I hope that these things that I shared today for Wellness Wednesday really did create some meaningful impact for you, because I want to be able to just not talk about it. I want to be authentic in it, right? I want to be able to share things on a real level with you, coming from my point of view. That's all I can do. All right, so now here's one of the most important things I need for you to know. If you don't know anything else, if you didn't hear another word that I said today, hear this. I love you. You matter to me. You matter to me. Yes, you matter to me. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So there. I'm giving you a big cyber hug. A wonderful Wellness Wednesday hug for you today, from me to you, from my heart to yours. And I hope that you are going to do every single thing you can to pay attention to your body, listen to what's happening with yourself, and then take action if you got some warning signs or some indicators on your own dash to take care of yourself. We got to be well, not Wednesday, but every day, right? All right, that's it. That's all, y'all. I'm looking forward to connecting with you on Friday. We got Black Friday every Friday here live at lunch. It's Tracy Time. And we got a restaurant I can't wait to tell you about. And this fantastic floral designer I can't wait to tell you about on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to that. So until then, be everyday amazing and live like it's a gift. Because it truly is. You hear me? It truly is. Live like it's a gift. All right. I'll see y'all Friday.